Welcome back to Literary Leap. Today we dive into one of the most chaotic and thought-provoking moments from Julius Caesar Act 3, Scene 3. The tragic misfortune of Cinna the poet reveals the terrifying power of mob mentality and the consequences of blind rage. Why does the crowd tear him apart? What makes this scene both darkly humorous and deeply unsettling? Stay tuned as we unravel Shakespeare's genius in this gripping episode. Cinna the poet walks onto the street. The scene serves as a continuation of the chaos in Rome after Caesar's assassination. Cinna shares that he had a strange dream about dining with Caesar, which makes him feel uneasy, a bad omen. He doesn't want to leave his house, but he feels compelled to go out. Now, things unlucky charge my fantasy refers to his imagination being filled with bad thoughts. This highlights the tension in Rome after Caesar's death, where people feel uncertain and fearful. The citizens are seen entering as an angry mob, showing how the crowd has become violent and irrational after Antony's speech stirred them against the conspirators. The citizens demand to know Cinna's identity, showing their suspicion of everyone. The citizens who are part of that angry mob keep on asking Cinna one question after the other without even giving him time to answer. They ask where he is heading, they want to know where he lives, they even ask personal questions showing how the mob has lost control and has begun interrogating people without reason. The mob demands clear and direct answers reflecting their impatience and hostility. They insist on short answers, they demand answers that make sense, and they want Cinna to answer truthfully or face their anger. Now, Cinna sarcastically repeats all their questions and answers them as they demand, directly, briefly, wisely, and truthfully. He humorously declares he is a bachelor. Now, his tone is ironic and maybe slightly mocking. The citizens then joke that Cinna's reply implies that only foolish people marry. However, they warn Cinna he might regret saying this. So Cinna states his purpose plainly. He is on his way to Caesar's funeral. The mob now wants to know if Cinna supports Caesar or opposes him. Cinna declares that he is Caesar's friend, hoping to calm them down. The citizens acknowledge Cinna's direct response. Now the citizens ask Cinna where he lives, demanding a quick answer. So Cinna replies briefly, saying he lives near the capital. The citizens now ask for his name and insist on a truthful answer. Cinna reveals his name, unaware of the danger this brings. The mob assumes he is Cinna the conspirator, one of Caesar's assassins, only because Cinna the poet shares the same name as Cinna the conspirator. So Cinna desperately protests, insisting that he is a poet, not a conspirator. Cinna realizes the danger that he is now in. But the citizens ignore his protests, jokingly decide to, or rather mockingly decide to attack him for being a bad poet instead. So the irony over here is Cinna is punished for something unrelated to his accusations. Cinna repeats that he is not the conspirator, trying desperately to save himself. The mob says it doesn't matter if he's innocent, they'll punish him simply because he shares the same name as Cinna the conspirator. The citizens, filled with rage, call for destruction. They want to burn down the houses of Caesar's assassins, Brutus, Cassius, Decius, Casca, and Ligarius. Now, this is a result of Antony's speech in Act 3, Scene 2, where he incited the mob to revolt against the conspirators. The citizens are then seen leaving, dragging Cinna to his fate. This scene illustrates the dangers of mob mentality, where people lose reason and act on emotion. The irrational and violent behavior of the crowd shows how easily people can be influenced and made to lose their sense of justice. Cinna's bad dream foreshadows the tragedy that befalls him, and the conspirators' actions have thrown Rome into complete disorder. So, this scene is both tragic and is darkly humorous, emphasizing the consequence of unchecked rage and manipulation. And that wraps up Act 3, Scene 3, a brief yet powerful depiction of how chaos and mob mentality can spiral out of control. Shakespeare uses Cinna the poet's tragic fate to highlight the dangers of blind anger and misplaced vengeance, leaving us to reflect on the destructive nature of unchecked emotions. This scene might be short, but its message is timeless. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Literary Leap for more insightful breakdowns of classic literature. See you in the next video.